A new report by the U.S. Senate committee says the CIA repeatedly misled the government and the public about harsh interrogation methods. The classified file says CIA agents used secret places known as black sites to interrogate prisoners. The methods of abuse included dunking suspects in icy water and physical abuse. CIA officials ordered officers to continue with harsh interrogation methods even after they were convinced the prisoners didn't have any more information to give. One official said almost all the intelligence from al-Qaeda suspect Abu Zubaydah was gained before he was waterboarded 83 times. Rahawala is Human Rights First's Senior Counsel for Defense and Intelligence. He joins me live from Washington, D.C. now. What do you make of this CIA report?
Well, I should say off the bat that I haven't read the report. It's classified at this point in time. But from what we know from members who've read the report and other public accounts of the report, this is the most detailed, comprehensive report of the CIA's torture program ever to have been conducted. Committee Chairman Senator Dianne Feinstein has called it one of the most significant inquiries in the history of the United States Senate, and by far the most important report that the Intelligence Committee has ever undertook. It shows that the CIA torture program was more widespread than has been previously thought and much less effective at gathering intelligence to stop terrorist plots or save American lives. So it's really important to move forward and make this report and its findings public.
Is that likely to happen?
Well, we're going to see a vote in the Intelligence Committee on Thursday regarding whether and to what extent the report should be submitted to President Obama and his team for declassification. I expect to move forward on this process and the president to act quickly to declassify the report and make sure that the American people understand the full truth about the United States government's use of torture.
This is a bit more than failure of the CIA. This is a failure of the government as well, isn't it?
Well, I think so. There were officials in all branches of governments who authorized the use of torture. And as you noted, this is a program that was pursued while misleading Congress, the White House, the Department of Justice, and frankly, the American people. We were told that there were great intelligence successes that were associated with this program. That turns out apparently not to have been true. We were told that the program was safe and humane, and that turns out to be almost the opposite of true. This was a brutal program that involved waterboarding and brutal tactics even beyond some of the most painful procedures that have been described to the American people.
How is this being perceived in the United States? Will people care? Are they bothered at all that these methods were used, possibly still are being used? Or are they say, okay, you've got to use methods like this? How will they react, do you think?
Well, I think one of the problems has been that since 9/11, former officials who were responsible for authorizing the use of torture have been telling one story, and then there's the reality. There's the truth about the torture program. We also have films like Zero Dark 30, TV shows like 24 that are really, I think, driving the narratives and the discussions of our government's use of torture. So it's really important that the facts are out there, that the American people can understand the full scope and the ramifications of our government's use of torture. And I believe that if the American people really understand what happened in their name, that the American people will reject torture once and for all.
Rahawala, many thanks to you for joining us from Washington, D.C.
Thanks for having me.